You understand the pattern. You can explain it, trace it, name exactly where it started, and still, in the moment, you react the same way. That gap isn't weakness. It isn't lack of discipline. It's the distance between what you know in your head and what your body does before you can think. And until you understand that distance, you'll keep calling yourself stuck when you're actually just conditioned. We live in a culture that worships information. We listen to podcasts, we read the books, we collect the language, we can talk about trauma, we can define attachment styles, we can name exactly what happened and why. But understanding happens in the head. Patterns live in the body. And the body moves way faster than the brain. We think knowing should equal changing. So when change doesn't happen, we don't question the assumption, we question ourselves. What's wrong with me? Why I'm still like this? And that's where shame quietly moves in. Hi, my name is Szabó Tamás István, but you can call me Tamás. Or if that's a bit hard to pronunciate, but you can try it, you can just call me Tav. I'm a father, a singer, an entrepreneur, and for the past 15 years, I worked with kids, young adults, families, leaders, and communities. I'm exploring how we as humans try to connect, and I'm designing systems for sustainable relationships. I left my hometown, built a new life, new relationships, a business, and for a while, it felt like I had escaped. Like distance from the original system meant freedom from it. But something kept showing up in my relationships, in my business decisions, in the way I said yes when everything in me wanted to say no. I was pleasing people constantly, quietly, professionally. And one day I realized that wasn't a strategy, that was inheritance. I had left the house, but I had taken the same rules with me. You probably know someone like this. Maybe you are someone like this. Someone who left, who built something real, who looks from the outside like they figure it out. But underneath, they're still running the first system they ever learned. Because you can move to a better neighborhood. You can build a company, you can upgrade everything around you. But you cannot outrun your blueprint. Not until you go back internally, and why not physically as well, to understand how the house was built and which rules you're still living by without knowing it. And here's why that's so hard. Here's the core truth. Your logical mind is not driving during conflict. When pressure rises, your body doesn't consult your podcast notes. It checks for safety. Am I safe? And if the answer is uncertain, it reaches for the oldest tool in the house: silence, control, withdrawal, attack, over explaining, and most probably shut down. Not because you're broken, but because That's the tool once worked. You didn't think your way into the pattern, so you can't think your way out of it. Remember your last argument, not the content, the shift. There was a sentence, then something moved in your body. Your jaw tightened, your chest contracted, your tone sharpened. That shift happened before you could choose differently. That's muscle memory. It's the way the house was built. You can understand the blueprint completely and still trip over the same uneven floorboard every single time. Because the floorboard is actually there. It's not philosophy, it's structural. And structure doesn't change through insight alone. It changes through practice in real moments with real people. Here's the truth. Most people resist. Your body is loyal to an older version of you. It is still protecting a version of you that doesn't exist anymore. It is fighting battles that are already over. That loyalty is not weakness, but until you acknowledge it, you will keep calling yourself stuck when you're actually just conditioned. Change doesn't begin with more knowledge. It begins when you stop attacking yourself, when you stop saying, I should be better than this by now. Instead, say, this reaction makes sense. Now let me understand it. That's the pivot. Not performance, not force, observation. The moments that frustrate you the most are the only moments where the blueprint becomes actually visible. The trigger is not proof you failed. It's a coordinate. In the next video, I'm going to introduce the red button rule. Not to eliminate triggers, but to use them. Because the very moment that exposes the crack is the only place you can reinforce the structure. We'll take this one layer at a time. No rushing, no quick fixes, just learning how the human system actually works, step by step. See you in the next one. God bless.